Hi and welcome to another Type with me. In today's video I want to talk about CSS in 2027. There are a lot of great things that are happening within CSS, and one of the things is that it's not only a style sheet, but it's also an interaction engine. So it will be better at defining the interactions with less code to be maintained within JavaScript. And I think that's a good thing, because then we can really focus upon a very good UI and UX flow without really having to type a lot of JavaScript. So one of the new things that are coming into CSS to enable that is sibling-count. And here, first of all, I'm going to show you a staggering animation in JavaScript. It has some CSS, right? You see right here, and you have here at keyframe fade up to opacity 1, and we transform it with translate y.0, and then we have here our list of elements, dashboard, order, inventory, reports, settings, and then here you have the JavaScript. So we do query selector all, and then we go over it and we say to every item that you want to have an animation, and the animation delay is regards towards the index, right? If we go now towards the page, you'll see here that we have this, right? Now, if we go to the new method, but be aware that certain browsers don't support it yet. But I think it's a really good kind of evolution. And here you will see the future CSS. We do here animation delay, calc, sibling, index, and then we do here 80 milliseconds. And so in the CSS we can put kind of the right rules, and we don't need to do it actually here within JavaScript, right? We can just do it here within CSS, which is, I think, a very powerful thing. So if we go to the browser again, and I'm gonna show you just the main screen right now, you see it works, right? So if I refresh it, you see it nicely works. So to really show you what it can do, we could also do the following thing, right? We can do padding, and then here we can say calc, same thing, sibling, index, and so every item now will have certain padding. So if we now refresh this, you see we get more padding, right? So the elements become bigger, and that's, like I said, a little bit weird, but I think it's a nice thing. What we could do, of course, is do then margin left, for example. I think this will be better. So if I now refresh it, right, you see here that we get indentation. So that's really nice. What we also could do is using sibling count, and with sibling count we can also play around with it and do cool things with it. It's also a new CSS element next to sibling index. So now I'm going to play around with the CSS of cards, and so here you'll see that I will have again a list of elements, and if you go here, you see here display flags, gap 1 or REM, padding, list style, none, and then here you have flags, calc 6 minus sibling count, and then you see we have 5, so flags will be 1, right? But I will show you, we will move a little bit of the elements away, and then you can see how this is something that's really cool to help with with your CSS code. So here you see, if you now do here refresh, right, see nice animations that the elements come into play, right? If you now do a copy paste here, you'll see that here we have extra elements. If you now here refresh, you see these extra elements are being added. If you now do inspect, and here normally, if I go to cards, you'll see here calc 6 minus, and then sibling count is 10, so we have minus 10 for the flex, right? So we can play around with it. If we now go here, you see flex string is 1, and then flex basis 0%. It's also cool that you here see how many elements there are and how you can play around with it. So for example, if you now have 4, and then here we do refresh, and here we have the 4 ones there. We have here flex 2, right? So that should be the same as doing here flex 2, which is it's just nice. If you have here flex 6, it's only strange that it really isn't working. But you see what I mean? It's, I think, a cool feature that is worth to exploring. And so if you want to play around with it yourself, for example, well, and here we can just move away and say 4. Then you say here refresh, and you see that it equally divides it in the whole content. So I think maybe something went wrong in my example, but I think it's cool to see that actually if you put the right CSS, but it's actually, yeah, what it does here, of course, is it does a width, and then you have calc 100%, and then you divide it with sibling count, and then you see like, okay, the ALE will be divided equally across all this, right? And I think that's really neat and something that you really want. So if you want to play around, go to MDN. You'll here also see the browser compatibility, and then you see that there is problems with Firefox. So you will also see that it is limited, available, and not baseline proved. So here you see which has complete baseline, but of course we are still waiting for Firefox. I think it's a really neat and very cool feature, and something to really watch out for. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Please like it if you think this is a cool video, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. See you next time.